First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And salutations to the beloved prophets and brothers continue to exhort the sheep in these last days. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect listening in, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, shalom. The title of this epistle is entitled, Father Knows Best. Father indeed does know best. And because he has created us out of his own hands, out of his own breath, to give us a life experience here on earth, he knows everything that we will say, do, think, for it is all written in our life plan, because he has created all things for himself, for every purpose under the heavens. So Father knows best. With that being said, let's go into Jeremiah chapter 1 and start at verse 5. And it reads, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. This particular verse here is speaking expressly unto the priests that the Most High Yahweh has established in these times to reawaken the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to call them back to the marriage supper of the Lamb, and be prepared for the said coming judgments. But furthermore, this verse can very well be applied to every living soul walking on this planet, for everything was formed by the Most High Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai. And he's declaring that before you even came into existence, that he has already spoken it, and he knows everything about you. So we're going to develop an understanding of a relationship that the Father has with his vessels here on earth, and get a deeper understanding of what is commanded for us to do while we have life here, those that have the ears to hear. So before I knew thee, I formed thee in the womb, right? In the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, and your Apocrypha, in chapter 1 and verse 14, he says, one second. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. Now we're going to establish that, yes, indeed, the Most High Yahweh has created all things in existence, and he has made the faithful, and he has also created the unfaithful, those that are vessels fit for honor and those that are made for dishonor. He has created all things for every purpose under the sun. Everything that he has established in the existence is well balanced. You can't have too much of something, because it'll throw something else out of alignment, right? So the faithful was made in the womb, and before he knew us, we were created in the womb. Everything was created by him and for him. So Father knows best. He knows what he has created. And your life design, everything that you have ever experienced in life, whether it be good or challenging, we'll label it like that from now on. You should adopt that practice. Nothing is bad. Things may be challenging, right? The experiences that you have. We experience the good, and we also experience the challenges. The challenges is what helps refine us and grow and builds our integrity. From the sorrow, the heartbreak, all the life experiences that have broken you down as a person, and through his mercy was able to reform you, the righteous, and establishing wisdom now, because when you go through these experiences in life, it helps grow you and develops a character in you through your experiences that helps grow you as a person and now you may be a vessel that is able to administer unto those, to receive that wisdom through your experience, so that way when the challenges arrive in other people's lives, you may be a ministering spirit in order to help reshape that vessel that's broken, because the Father gives us that power to heal the spirit in people when they are suffering. But on the flip side of that, he has already written in our life plan the great experiences that we will experience as well. You know, some of us experience some joyous moments in life, having a life partner, and children, having those achievements that we wanted to fulfill. You know, all those things were written in our life plan as well. And Father knows best. He knows everything that is going to help create a vessel of integrity and honor. And everything is already written in the plans, right? Let's go to Psalms 34. Father knows best. He knows all things, right? Psalms 34 and verse 15. And it says, the eyes of Yahweh are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. Right? So the Father, he knows exactly where you are in your life, this very moment, on this day. Wherever you are, his eyes are always upon you, and his eyes are also on the wicked. So what that means is that even from creation of time, from the point that you were born, his eyes were always upon you, watching you and guiding you and causing situations in your life to either bring you up or bring you back down, to give you a well-balanced experience here on earth. And those that are living according to his will and trying to stay in his the life plan that he has written for you, you do not have free will in that manner, because if it's already written out from beginning to end, what you're going to do, what you're going to say, and how you are going to respond to life events, then there really is no free will. Free will means that you are now taking that life story that was already written aforetime and now rewriting it somehow. That is, and if you go and try to do that, the judgments for going off script causes you to be punished. You know, so if we live in his will, we have no free will of our own, but we live according to his will and his purpose, and be guided by his instructions, because Father knows best. He knows what's best for us to receive a life more abundantly. And he knows that if his vessel that he has formed goes off, you will be subject to the penalties. But you want to be seen as a vessel that's fit for salvation, a vessel that's fit for keeping, right? You don't want to be destroyed and cast into the fire, because Father knows what's best for us, and we don't know what's best for us. If we lean on our own understanding, we're going to be subject to miscalculation, if you will, and suffer the consequences of it. You know, a lot of us can reflect and sit back and say, you know, I don't know why at that very moment I went off and I said this. I don't know why I behaved in that manner. Maybe if I went back in time, I could have fixed it, and so on and so forth. When we reflect on those things, I very well guarantee you that you weren't being led by his word. Because if you were, you would respond in a different manner, because you would be bearing those good fruits, right? You would be not so quick and hasty to respond in like manner, and you would be you would have more integrity, and it would show. So the Father knows what's best for us, and he knows what to put in our path to cause us to walk upright and strengthen our integrity. right? Because we don't want free will. We want his will to be done in our lives. So when we put down the vain works that we chase after in this life, and we start picking up our cross, so to speak, we are now walking in a path, in a way that is well pleasing to the Father. And when we start to develop that type of path with the Father, this relationship, as we should, because he knows every hair on our head, he knows our thoughts, the intentions of our hearts. He formed us in a womb. He knows exactly who we are. We cannot hide from who we truly are, because he knows all the intentions. In like manner, we should be establishing with the people around us in our lives who we hold dear to, and becoming a very fruitful tree to those around us as well. You know, long patience, exercising our integrity with people, you know, forbearing one another, according to the scriptures, you know, according to the scriptures, and establishing, reestablishing our moral compass, because this society teaches us to go in all different directions, but the scriptures is teaching us how to establish righteousness. It's the highest way of thinking and performing, you know. And again, Father knows best. He's given us instructions on how to correct all things. We're going into Psalms 34 and verse 15. The eyes of Yahweh are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. So we're going to establish, and we are establishing, a strong communication with the Father, Yahweh, and constant communication and prayer to receive instructions. We don't go outside of that. We don't go outside of that to go and get understanding from someone else that has the wisdom of this world, but we look towards the Father to correct us in all areas of our life. It doesn't matter if you're a 5-year-old or if you're a 75-year-old. It doesn't matter the age range of your age to get instructions, because this is from beginning to end, right? And all things are profitable. Everything that is written is profitable. Every jot, one tittle, everything is perfect for you to have that correction, and causing you to repent and purge out iniquity and sin, you know, confessing your faults one to another. That shows that you are humble and you are meek, and you can examine yourself and know that you have some things you may need to work on. You know, if you are a person that has sticky fingers and so on and so forth, and it doesn't matter if it's a pen, it doesn't matter. You know, everything is counted either for us or against us. And we want to make sure that in the coming times and the days to come, that we are building up the integrity and the attributes of someone who is walking upright and not having those filthy blemishes on our garments. Because Father knows all things, and he knows what's best for us to have those corrections be made in our life to either make us or break us. So the Most High Yahweh, his eyes are always upon us, and he's watching and listening to all things. And if we are in constant communication with us, he also hears our voice and responds to the righteous. He does not respond to the lawless. It's written. It is written. He hears the prayers of the righteous, but a sinner he will not answer. That's found in your book too. Let's go to John. St. John. Excuse me. John chapter 27. St. John chapter 10 and verse 27. It says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So Yahweh, what Yahweh Shai declares, and it is written, that the sheep can respond to the Father if you are practicing righteousness and keeping his ways, because what is written will cause you to identify what is displeasing to the Father. So if he says not to do something and you go off and do it, that's not his voice. The people that claim to have the wisdom of the Father, when they're speaking something that's contrary to what's written, and you know that that doesn't align with Scripture, that's not his voice, right? He tells us how to interact with our world as well and the people around us, you know? So he says, you know, I know your thoughts. I know the very hairs on your head. That's in Luke. Anyway, he knows the very hairs on our heads. He knows our thoughts. He knows where we are at life. He knows when we're down. He knows when we're up. And we stay in constant communication with him to receive instructions. And we ask him to help us in those things that we are weak in. So that way we are strengthened and our integrity intensifies. And we will be that guiding light that is walking in righteousness with those that have no clue on what, you know, moral uprightness is in society. John 10, and we'll grab verse 3 and start from there. He says, to him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name and leadeth them out. Right? He will guide you and direct you in all manner of your life, no matter what you're doing. You can very well rest assured that when you call on the Father, if you're walking with moral integrity and keeping his law, statutes, and commands to the best of your ability and putting on righteousness and putting down iniquity, that he is going to respond in like manner for you to prosper in your ways each and every day, each and every moment, you know. And you will be challenged as well to see if what you have learned, are you stable to walk in it, right? You can't expect to continue to grow and not be challenged in those things. So if you have an issue with your mouth, you're quick to respond and you muster up anger and stuff like this, but you're practicing on how to bridle your tongue in all situations, guess what's going to happen next? You're going to have to be challenged to see if you can bridle your tongue, right? This is what you want. You want to say, you know, I made an achievement today. You know, I didn't go off. Thank you, Father, for helping me to grow in my integrity and putting on righteousness and putting down iniquity. I can feel and I can see the fruits growing around me, and others can see it as well. They say, good job. John chapter 10, verse 4. He says, and when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth after before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, and will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. Those that are say they are one thing and are definitely not. If you have the spiritual eyes to discern what righteousness looks like according to the scriptures, then you know that there's some growing that needs to happen in, you know, other people as well. But, you know, nonetheless, we don't sit in a seat of as a judge, but we are to look to the scriptures as a guide and a light, so we are continuing to grow and not have our light diminished and put out, because there may be those that don't want to grow in the areas that you want to grow in. Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 33. Jeremiah 33. Man, don't put white out all of your book. Jeremiah 33. And start at verse 2. Jeremiah 33 and verse 2, it says, thus saith Yahweh power, the maker thereof, and Yahweh that formed it to establish it, and Yahweh is his name. Call upon me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. So the wisdom that is found within the scriptures, some of this stuff cannot be just automatically revealed to anyone, just anyone. Not everybody's eyes are blessed, and not everybody's ears are blessed. Not everybody who picks this book up can receive the wisdom and understanding that is written therein, because it is sealed and is only revealed with a clean and pure spirit. Those that lack integrity and do things that are not well pleasing to the Father, he's not going to reveal the deeper mysteries that are found within the Holy Scriptures. And he gave the children of Israel that opportunity and that gift to receive the Ruach HaKodesh, that Holy Spirit, to get the deeper mysteries and the wisdom and knowledge and understanding that is sealed. This is why everybody has a different interpretation of what they read inside, because they read it in a milk format that's visible to all people. But the wisdom that is hidden inside, it is unpacked, unlocked through those with a pure and a contrite spirit, those with a meek and humble spirit. He says, call unto me, and I will answer thee, and I will show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Right? And to substantiate what I just said, if you go into Matthew, I believe it's 13. Matthew 13 real quick, and get verse 11. He says, this is the disciples asking the Messiah, why do you speak in parables and all these things? And he says, because, and he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them is not. Right? The wisdom is locked away in the scriptures, and it's not revealed to everybody. They can read and read and read, and they have a zeal for knowledge, but not according to the scriptures. They're forever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of what is truly being said. You know, so when he talks about how the sheep hear his voice and another they will not answer, that's because those that have put off the ways of this world and have truly repented and given up false philosophies, put down their own carnal works, to now stand at the foot of the Father to receive instructions day to day, your daily bread, for him to lead you and guide you in the ways of righteousness. He will perform these tasks for you and will wash you and make you clean, refine you, challenge you, mold you into a new vessel fit for honor and not for dishonor. And those that do not have the eye salve to see these things is concealed to them. This is only unlocked with a pure spirit. Deuteronomy 29 and 29. Yeah, Deuteronomy 29:29. One of my favorite books. Deuteronomy 29:29. He says, the secret things belong unto Yahweh our power, but those things which are revealed, which means they have to be revealed by the Father. They cannot just be encrypted using some kind of software or asking Google or Chat GPT. None of these things happen this way. This speaks expressly to the Spirit, a clean and contrite and pure spirit. And the Father knows best. He knows who to give his wisdom and knowledge understand to, and he will conceal it unto others that continue to walk in gross darkness and do not serve him in like fashion, and they will be given up to their own reprobate thoughts and minds. They have the wisdom and knowledge of this world. They follow another sheep, another shepherd, a false shepherd, mind you. Deuteronomy 29:29. The secret things belong unto Yahweh our power, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. So the words, everything is profitable from beginning to end. Everything that is revealed belongs to us as a possession, as a treasure. You know, he says to store up for yourselves treasure in heaven where moths and thieves cannot come through and break in, right? These are the chief things that we should be storing up for ourselves, because the Father knows that those that have the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, those are the ones that have favor with him, because he hates foolishness. And foolish people, they love iniquity and sin. That's written. Isaiah 65. Did I read 33? Yeah. Let's go to Isaiah 65. We're almost done. I'll wrap it up. Isaiah 65. Isaiah 65 and verse 24. He says, "And it shall come to pass, before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear." This is one of the most beneficial things that we can establish in our walk here on earth, is a relationship with the Father. And those that have reconnected with Abanawa Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, we have that line of communication to be given instructions and a guide in this walk, to not be ensnared by the snares that the enemy has laid down for us to in hopes to step into and transgress and go off. But we have that line of communication with the Father because he has created us in the womb, right? I see a verse over here. Probably not going to get that just yet. But again, the Father is going to automatically respond to us even before we even open our mouths. He knows everything that our hearts desire, and we should have a desire towards him first and foremost, not to anything in this world, but our desire should be to develop more wisdom, to have more integrity, to put on better fruits, and to purge off the old ones, to be refined in the ways of righteousness and put off iniquity and lawlessness, right? These are a special creation unto himself, and this is what the Father truly desires. For our story is already written, he knows our thoughts and our intentions. He's the potter and we are the clay. Isaiah 42 and 9. Isaiah 42 and 9. Isaiah 42 and verse 9. It says, "Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them." So again, the Father goes before us. It is already written. He has already written our life story. So at no time should you ever be thinking that, I don't know why these circumstances happened in my life. I don't know why they keep happening in my life. Maybe, da 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 da. He's causing you to self-reflect. Take a moment and pause and seek him to get correction. Nothing is by coincidence. It is already written out, which means you have no free will. You want to live in accordance to his will. Father, what did you design for me this day? How should I go about this day? How should I respond? What should I be putting my hands to today, Father? And he'll tell you. He'll speak expressly to you if you have the ear to discern his voice. If you are being trained in that fashion to respond to his word and his spirit, he's going to lead you in the ways of righteousness. He will not lead you in the path down destruction. He will not. And if you are being challenged, then that's a moment for you to grow. Isaiah 42 and 9, we read that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians real quick. We're almost done. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. He says, "There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it." So when you're being tested and tried In those moments of being refined, you should be reflecting on his word in the very midst of that spiritual battle, saying, okay, this is a moment for me to bridle my tongue, correct my heart posture, respond appropriately, and he will give me a way out. How is he going to give me a way out? If I'm being led by the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, according to the scriptures, if I put on these attributes as a shield, as armor to my defense, then he will make a way for me to escape. If you are in that trial and you are going off and you take matters into your own hand and lean on your own understanding in your carnal flesh, you're going to be subject to the penalties of reacting or thinking anything that is contrary to the word in the flesh, if that makes sense. Because what the scriptures, what his Holy Spirit does is lock us into the Spirit and have us move in the Spirit. Those that are in the flesh, they're not going to inherit the kingdom. They're going to stay in the flesh and they're going to be cast off as chaff. So right here in the design of the Father for our life, he has already told us that there has no temptation that has taken such that is common to men. All these things have already been done under heaven. You know, we suffered the heartbreak, we suffered the loss of all things, and we also experience the lighter things in life, you know, whatever they are for you. But he will not make a way. He will make a way for you to endure temptations and trials, and a way for you to escape. And that is character development and causing you to grow in integrity. So Father knows best. He knows how to groom us and refine us, and he knows how to put a heavy hand to us if we don't respond according to his will. Last verse, Isaiah 45. Isaiah 45, right here. Isaiah 45 and verse 7. He says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, do all these things. So, the Almighty Creator of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our Father, has created all things in existence from beginning to end. There's nothing in your life that's out of alignment other than the things that you have put in there. If you put all these burdens in your life and you want to be unyoked from them, he is ultimately going to cause you to unyoke from them. He's going to separate you from things that are not profitable unto you, because you have designed them and you went to establish those things without his permission. You know, there may be people that you think are your lifelong partner and so on and so forth. You may think that you own that house. You think that these are your vehicles. These are people that think this stuff. You know, this is my property. These are my property lines. All these things. No, you went about establishing things outside of his will. So when you start to be challenged and you want to hold on to those things, you're ultimately going to be torn in half, because these are the things that he has not purposed for you to have and grow in integrity and righteousness, to be established by his word. So these are the trials that are not common to man. You know, these are not outside of his power. They are all scripted by the Father, because he forms the light, creates darkness, I make peace, and I create evil. All the things that are happening in the world right now is purposed by the Almighty Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Even though he uses man to create these things and orchestrate these things, all the spirits are being led by his hand. That may be unfathomable to some people on this earth. No, man is man. They put too much power in the man. They think a man does everything is created by the Father, the good and the wicked. So I pray that this was edifying, and just know that Father knows best. No matter what you experience in this life, just know that the Father has orchestrated for you to cause you to be refined and pruned to put on better fruits in the ways of righteousness. So with that being said, I pray this was edifying, and the Wada Abanawa Yahweh for another day and opportunity to speak your word. And I pray this was edifying to the sheep. Shalom.